What's going on? Jesus. From FedEx. What's up, everybody? So I'm back after a long holiday break. I wasn't just slacking off. I was super busy through the holidays. My one business, especially December, is the busiest of all. I inherited another huge company with my brothers and my sister, and it's just been tons of work. So I'm catching up now on my videos here on the channel. We just had New Year's Eve a couple days ago. Now it is 2023. I'm sporting a new Frankenshrine t-shirt my brother-in-law made for me. I said, listen, I want to take Frank's logo, convert it to a vector file, make some cool stuff for his brother and I, you know. And I made a handful of t-shirts. I'm going to send his brother some. Actually, I'm going to deliver some to him next week. And, you know, I said, if anybody out there may want one, I'll make some extras. If you knew Frank or just want to, you know, wear his cool logo. Hey, get out of there. If you want to wear his cool logo, you know, I think it's awesome. Frank would love it that his Frankenshrine is out there on monster kids across the nation. So this video, we're going to do a quick follow-up on two of the masks that you saw me cleaning all the mold off of, surgically removing those styrofoam heads out of, and I was making all those noises and swearing in that video. A lot of people love that. So I sent those two masks along with a whole bunch of others out to California, where a good friend of mine professionally foam filled them, and they're gorgeous. It's a bummer, but he doesn't do it for everyone, guys. He's a private guy. He just does it for a handful of friends. And it's not like some service where you can just send your masks out to him. I can't even get him to do any new clients. He just does what he does, and that's the end of that. So, two of them came back that we're going to look at first. The good old Distortions Unlimited, Nate and the Rotted Corpse. Look at these babies. So, if you remember, both of these guys were covered in mold. Top to bottom, every crevice caked with this nasty, strange mold. I sat there cleaning them. There's videos on all this for those of you that haven't seen them yet. And I mean, this is why I take the time to do this and really go the extra mile on making something as nice as I can, because after it's foam filled, it's going to be preserved for a long time. And this is the result of, you know, taking your time and working hard at cleaning something or restoring something. This is what they're going to look like. They look brand new. Keep in mind, none of these were repainted. This is all original Distortions Unlimited early 80s paintwork, and they look incredible. Look at that. This mask it looks brand new. A lot of guys are after this mask, this old Rotted Corpse. Just, that is a killer copy. These sat in Frank's collection since they were brand new. He literally bought these brand new from Ed. They sat on the same shelves for decades and decades until, of course, they're here now. And I did everything I could to get them looking good again. And now this is the result. The foam filling my friend does is second to none. Like, he is the best there is when it comes to foam filling masks. And he doesn't use any two-part solution like you're going to see me use in a future video I'm doing. He uses a machine, a very expensive, look at the little pedestals he makes. It's just so beautiful. Such clean work. He uses a very expensive machine that it comes out of a gun. It's like a $15,000 or $18,000 machine for foaming stuff at a company. And it comes out warm, and the warm foam really aids in making the shapes of these masks, you know, come out just right when they're getting filled. And they look killer. So that, my friends, are two incredible Frankenshrine pieces that have now come back to life. Cleaned, professionally filled, and they are gorgeous once again. And this one's kind of special because when these left Distortions, they did not have paintwork on the worms like that. So that's pretty... Somebody did that. I don't know if Ed did that, custom for my buddy or not, but someone did that way back when. Maybe Frank did it. Maybe Ed did it. I do not know. And Ed just doesn't remember all the details on some of these things. I mean, you're talking a long time ago, thousands of masks ago. You can't expect, you know, someone to remember every little thing he did out there. But take a look at those babies. So, just gorgeous. We're going to move on to the next thing. First, I want to tell you, though, that these three and those two are still stuck on foam heads, okay? That's a serious thing I told you about. It's not like some easy thing to get these out of here. It takes a ton of time. You have to be careful. These are exquisite examples of these beautiful Distortions masks. I do not want to screw them up. So, in time, I'm going to remove those heads, send these out to California and get them foam filled. Hopefully by February. Those two stuck on heads. I'm telling you, all those guys out there like to laugh and say, oh, it's crazy, foam heads are fine. No, they're not. You know, I got friends out there with huge platforms swaying people's minds that there's no problem with foam heads, and it's terrible, you know. So, let's see, what else? Aha! This here, one of my favorite Death Studios pieces from the early 80s. If you can guess, do you know what this is? Do you know where you've seen this character before? I'm sure Death Studios guys are already answering exactly what this is. But those of you out there that have no clue, think of one of the craziest 80s horror films ever made. Quite hilarious at times. Very gory, insane, over the top. They're in a cabin in the woods where they're stuck there. Demonic forces are working to keep them there and kill a lot of them. Evil Dead. Okay, this is Cheryl from Evil Dead. So, I believe this came out around 82 or 83. Jeff produced this. He had the rights to produce this. And the reason a lot of DS collectors out there would love to get one of these, but Jeff, I guess he really just can't make them because of the rights issue. So that is definitely a rare mask. This one sat in a glass case at Frank's since it was brand new. However, it was really dirty because the dust just collected on it. I'm telling you, this thing did not move. It's still brand new. It was foam filled. I'm sure Jeff probably foam filled this when it was new, sent it to Frank. Frank put it in a glass case, and it never moved since the early 80s. The same glass case that my Vern Langdon zombie was sitting in. So that is super, super cool. I actually found history on the Vern Langdon zombie, the whole story about when the guy that Frank purchased it from bought it. So I'll get into that in another video. But I found a lot of cool notes the other day that I would sit there and take notes as Frank and I would talk, and I just found a bunch of them, thank goodness. So, Cheryl here, she's looking pretty hot. I posted this in the Death Studios group, and because I love the mask so much, I said, does anyone else out there have any copies of this? I'd love to see them because they all look so different from each other. So about maybe 5 different guys all pitched in photos of their copies, and I'm going to show those to you now because every single one of them looks different. And isn't it crazy? Different hair, different blood on the mouth. He uses this really nice thick blood on the mouths here. I love this. But if you want to be very careful not to crack that and have it fall off. It's just perfect condition. But this here, definitely a rare mask. I know a friend of mine got one out of Japan not too long ago. But definitely not one you're going to see every day. So, good old Cheryl from Evil Dead. I'm going to show you another Frankenshrine mask that I hope I didn't show this one on another video. I don't think I did. It is from one of my favorite movies that we've already kind of touched on tonight. And this one is from Death Studios as well. It's a mask. A lot of people are hoping Jeff brings it back. There's a couple reasons right now, though, that it's not being produced. And but I'm going to get this copy down. So when I would go visit Frank, I would go down the stairs to the main collection room. There was many rooms to this collection. And this mask was always staring at all of the other things in the room. It was staring in the other direction. And I'd see it as I went down the stairs, and I'd say, man, it's such a beautiful copy of one of my favorite monsters of all time. And Frank knew I wanted this thing. And it was definitely different than a lot of the other copies I've seen. So let me get it down. I'm going to show you right now what it is. Oh, baby, look at that. You all should know exactly what that is. Creepshow Fluffy, the Crate Beast. The famous Tom Savini creation from one of my favorite films of all time. One of my favorite scenes of that film is absolutely the crate. And this is a over-the-top spectacular copy of this mask. I've had other copies of this in the past, and they didn't look like this. Mainly the hair work, too. Like, not only the beautiful paint on this one, but the hair on all the others I see is quite different. It's more like the hair on Cheryl. On the Cheryl I just showed you, that softer style hair. This, I think, from my memory, Frank and I were talking about this probably 5 years ago. I may have it on a video where he was talking about this thing. I'm going to have to really search all my files. But, oh no, some little pieces of hair. Shit. I'm going to want to save these. God damn it. This stuff's delicate, guys. This is an old one. This is an original. I'm going to stick it right there for now. It ain't going to fall. So, I swear, Frank told me, and I could be wrong. I have to talk to Jeff. I think Laura Lady may have haired this one. I don't remember, so I really have to try to figure that out. I'm sure Jeff will tell me, or Laura Lady could tell me, but it's got hair in places that I don't think other copies have. This could have been a catalog copy from one of the old Death Studios catalogs, or it could just be an amazing custom copy that Jeff painted up special for Frank. Like I said, Jeff would send Frank over-the-top pieces and many catalog copies of his masks. He told me, he goes, Frank was so particular, he would send masks back to Jeff lots of times with little post-it notes saying, hey, I need this, eyeball fixed a little more, or this with the teeth, or this ear over here needs a little touch-up. And he would send the masks back. Finally, in the end, Jeff said he was so particular, I would just send him the catalog copies and say, Frank, you are getting the best copy there is, and that's it. You can't get any better because that's the catalog copy. And which is so, if you knew Frank, you would laugh, because he was so particular with his monsters. But this copy's insane, and look at that. He knew I wanted this one. I said, man, I've had others, but this one, I fell in love with this so many years ago. And I had another cool Fluffy I should never have sold. I think it could have been a movie mold copy. But look at that. Just gorgeous. And this definitely originated from the movie mold, from Tom Savini's mold. The Death Studios version, the Distortions Fluffy, they all originated from Tom's molds. So just killer. Look at that. I actually posted this recently on my Instagram. Tom Savini commented, who's making these? Thinking it was a new one. And I'm like, no, Tom, this is a vintage copy. And I don't know if he was just loving it or what, but all right. One of the reasons a lot of Death Studios collectors out there are hoping to get new copies of this. Jeff, unfortunately, is having problems with his eyes, and he has trouble painting the eyes on masks. Certain eyes, I guess. So I think there's some copies that were never finished. You know, the eyes are not done. And a lot of collectors out there are hoping to get their hands on a Fluffy from Jeff. But I don't know. To my knowledge, I think that Trick or Treat Studios may own the rights now to some of these guys. And I don't know. I'm not saying they do. I don't know if we'll ever see any more of these surface in the future. I hope we do, because Jeff definitely does them really nice. But that is killer, man. You're not gonna see. Maybe you will, but I've never seen another Death Studios one look like this. I'm so brain fried, I don't even remember what masks I've showed you from the Frankenshrine. I know we did a couple videos. I'm like, man, I want to put some in this video, but I gotta go back and check. I'm losing it, guys. There's so many masks down here. There's so many masks down here. It's insane. And with the help of Frank, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this because I'm excited. I want to put together the greatest collection of Halloween masks anyone's ever seen. And I'm not kidding you. I want to put together the greatest concentration of amazing masks in the history of Halloween masks. Which brings me more towards wanting to do a museum in the future. So, we'll see, guys. I think about buying some old Victorian house and turning it into a monster mask museum. Be pretty nuts. A boy's got a dream. Alright, so, on to the next thing. We should do one more Frankenshrine piece. What do you think? A fascinating piece that I would stare at. I stare at a lot of stuff, but I would stare at this thing. Frank had this room so packed full of monster stuff that you could not walk into the room anymore. It was like all the way up to the door. So I would put my head in there, hanging on the edge of this door, looking at all of this crazy stuff in this room. And up on the top of these bookcases, I saw some masks. And one mask stood out so much that I fell in love with. And it was a classic Distortions Unlimited mask. They actually rebooted the mask when they did those reissues. But this is the original, real deal. I'm going to pull it out of this glass case. I may as well show it to you where it's sitting right now in its new home. Look at this. Do you know what that is, guys? That is the classic Snow Beast by Distortions Unlimited. Right now he's sitting next to some real deal Halloween 3 masks, but let's open this up. Oh, and that's a temporary Quasimodo. There's a different one I'm after that belonged to Frank, but this one, he's just a temporary one. So, this guy is really special. Probably don't have to pull him out too much and show you on the pedestal, but I would see this thing sitting up on this bookcase for years. And I always wanted to get to it and get it down, at least photograph it sometime. So I did just that. I photographed it for the Distortions book. I'm not sure if it made it into the book. I have to double check that. But all the Distortions guys I know out there that see this copy, they say that this is definitely a unique copy. It looks different than all of the others. You know what? I better pull it out of here because this weird yellow light is probably making it look strange. Let's take a walk. Alright. Get him in some better light. So, this one looks quite different than all of the others. He's really blue looking. Like his color has this cool blue-gray color on his eyes. Some of these that I've seen have real, like, just basic eye paint jobs. Like, it's just like a red circle. This is the cooler, more detailed eyes. really nice amount of blood on his mouth. Look at that. And Ed, I talked with Ed Edmonds, you know, the man behind Distortions Unlimited, and he really can't remember too much about it. You know, he said, he goes, oh yeah, that's an old one, but he just doesn't remember if there was some special thing about it. Like, I looked at the catalog photo, it's not the catalog copy. My guess is, this is my guess, Frank was knew everyone on a personal basis back in the day. He probably just requested that Ed made it a little more special than the others, you know, and just made it a little different than the other masks out there. He always likes his stuff customized. There's another Distortions piece I'll be showing you in the future that has some customization by Ed that nobody has seen just yet. So I'm hoping I'll show you that soon. But this thing is, oh, this thing's beautiful. A friend of mine's going bananas over it. He goes, that's a beautiful mask. This thing has this, so this mask was foam filled a long time ago. Let me see what the bottom looks like. Oh yeah, that foam's, it was probably foamed in the 80s or early 90s. Who knows? It's hard, it's so hard to tell. The hair's matted down pretty well. It was sitting, I mean, for years and years and years. And like I said, Frank's stuff always was beautiful, pristine, you know. And this was in a whole different room than the mold, you know, the room where the mold was. So super clean, no issues. His hair's just really matted down from years of just sitting untouched, you know. It all just formed to the head. It's not bushy. Oh my god. But just an awesome classic Distortions Unlimited mask. I'm sure a lot of DU guys, the big DU collectors out there, will agree that this is a spectacular copy. Frank knew I loved this thing. He'd say, don't worry, someday you'll get it down. You know, I did take it down for the photos, but I put it right back up where he belonged for a long time. But now he is, I'm going to take care of this thing for as long as it's going to be here in the collection. And he's here to stay. So, and now we're going to go back to the wonderful world of Don Post Studios with a really rare mask and claw set that came out. It debuted from Don Post in 1977. It's from one of my favorite movies of all time, starring the amazing Vincent Price. Yes, folks, The Fly. What a this has been on my radar for a long time. There are not many copies of this guy out there. This debuted in the 77 catalog, Don Post Studios. There have been modern copies from the original mold made. I used to have a great one. Should never have sold that either. But this is the real deal from 77. And this mask, it's aged. You know, he's definitely hardened. He kind of feels like leather. The claw is in spectacular shape. So the claw was foam filled in the 80s, okay? See that? Latex beautiful, very nice, right? Very good. We're all feels good. This feels like nothing is wrong with it. The mask though, this poor mask, it feels dry. It feels, you know, it's intact. Thank God this mask looks great. It looks good, but it's on the verge of totally being effed in the next 10 years. I'm going to show you why in a second. Guess you can get, I bet you can guess. I bet you people out there with half a brain can guess. So it's sinking in and the latex is leathery, okay? Keep in mind, made at the same time, same studio, same rubber, foam filled, not foam filled. Oh my God, what do you know? It's on a foam head. Holy shit. Rudy, you're crazy. Thank God, though. This styrofoam head was painted black before Frank put the mask on it, okay? There was paper towels stuffed up in there as much as possible to help keep the shape of this mask. You'll see some are still down in there. I just, for the first time, tried pulling some of the paper out. Believe me, I'm gonna put it right back in there if I cannot get this to come out right now. There's a piece of foam in there. See that foam stuck up in there? God, this Frank put this in there in probably 1980. Wow. Luckily, oh, come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on. Luckily, this has a big cavity. Hold on, I'm gonna put the camera down. Because this mask, oh, Jesus Christ. I was getting lucky there for a minute, but I do not want to force this. This is all hard. Hear that? You can play the drums on this mask. God damn it. See that? And guess what, folks? It ain't coming out. God, pisses me off. So, alright. Let's get this shit out of the way. Well, proof for the 500th freaking time that those heads are terrible. Yes, it's stuck on there. Yes, that head was painted black, but the styrofoam still aged this mask 10 times more than that claw. Okay? Those of you non-believers, explain to me how two pieces together can age so much differently. What's the key? What's the key behind this? Man, this thing's crazy. And wait till you see what's coming into this collection in the near future. I'm buying a really cool collection of masks. There's another one of these coming in. I'm not going to say anything until they arrive because it's going to be really good videos. You're all going to love what I'm going to do, what I'm going to unbox, the processes I'm going to have to go through to bring some of these masks back that are coming in from a collector out there, an old collector that bought them as a kid. He's now a toy collector, and he sold me his mask collection. And I'm not saying anything, but there's another fly coming in that needs my help. It's in serious trouble. And that's all I'm going to say for now. But these lenses are nice. They're in perfect condition. What a cool and rare Don Post mask. This sat up on a shelf in a bedroom for decades under a plastic bag. So luckily, it's not full of dust. Frank covered it with a plastic bag, thank God. But, you know, it aged way faster than its foam-filled counterpart here, which is beautiful. I mean, it's like new. If this mask was foam-filled, when they did that, this thing would be pristine. These would be up in the air. The antennas, it would be immaculate. It wouldn't be all sagging. Look at this. I barely want to handle this thing. But it's all sagging in the neck. You know, it's mushrooming out. All because it was never foam-filled. And being on this stupid head just made it 10 times worse than that claw. Anyway. More to come from the Frankenshrine. Amazing stuff and all the videos to come. Don Post, Distortions, Death Studios, and more. And other mask makers that a lot of you probably never even heard of from the old days. Cool stuff coming. Do any of you out there like Vincent Price films? What an amazing person he was. God, he was such a cool guy. Like, the world needs more Vincent Prices in it. It'd be a better place, you know? He's like the perfect gentleman in those videos. I just watched it the other day again. I never get tired of that movie. And the good old Don Post set is finally in the collection. I wanted one for years. Of course, I'd say, Frank, sell me that fly. He'd say, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. But here it is. And it is in great company with a lot of vintage Don Post stuff here, of course. So, thank you for watching this. More good stuff coming. And, and this week I'm heading to sunny Florida. Kissimmee? for the Meekum auction, the big one, and thousands of cars, muscle cars. I'll be filming my ass off, all for you guys. So, you car guys, don't worry. There's a lot of cars coming. I know I keep saying that, but there really are. And we're gonna start painting the black Trans Am soon, the 76. So, see you soon here on the Crimson Ghost Frankenshrine Network tonight. Bye, everybody.